Ever feel like we've got it all wrong? Like what we learned in history class is, well, just the tip of the iceberg.
I see where you're going with this.
We're diving into some seriously alternative history today, folks. Michael Tsarion's Atlantis, alien visitation, and genetic manipulation.
Oh yeah, Saurian. Buckle up for this one because he doesn't hold back. We're talking ancient aliens, lost civilizations, the whole shebang.
He's basically saying, forget everything you thought you knew about human origins, right?
Pretty much. Zarian starts with a bang, literally. He says, our story begins with a cosmic war, a war so massive it makes anything in our history look like, well, a minor disagreement.
Okay, so paint us a picture. What kind of war are we talking about here?
Imagine a planet, right? He calls it Tiamat, and it gets completely obliterated, wiped out, gone. And the kicker, Zarian says the asteroid belt we see today, those are the remnants of that destroyed planet.
Whoa, hold on. He's saying the asteroid belt is the leftover debris of an entire planet. That's one heck of a theory.
Right. But he doesn't stop there. He says the survivors of this destroyed world, these incredibly advanced beings called Nephilim, they escaped to Earth, went into hiding.
Hiding? Like where? Underground bunkers?
He actually points to evidence like those underground cities they found in Cappadocia, Turkey. You know, the ones with those complex ventilation systems way ahead of their time.
Yeah, I've seen pictures. Pretty incredible stuff.
Exactly. Zarian suggests those weren't just cities. They were shelters, maybe even built by these Nephilim to escape some ancient threat.
So we've got these advanced alien refugees hiding out on Earth, but then he calls them serpent masters. And honestly, that just makes me think of, well, actual snakes. Is this guy for real?
Well, Zarian's big on symbolism. He's not talking about literal snakes, not slithering around in robes or anything. He connects the word serpent to knowledge, to the Hebrew word for decipher, actually. Think of it like this. These serpent masters, they were incredibly advanced. They had knowledge, technology beyond anything we can imagine.
Okay, so advanced alien refugees with a knack for knowledge. Got it. But advanced in what way? What did they find when they got to Earth? Were there dinosaurs roaming around or what?
He suggests they found, well, us, or at least our very, very distant ancestors, Cro-Magnons, Neanderthals, maybe even some other unknown race. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Let me guess. Things are about to get even wilder.
You could say that again. See, according to Zarian, these serpent masters, they weren't content with just sharing the planet. They had a plan.
A plan? Okay, so what did these serpent masters have in store for our ancient ancestors? Some kind of intergalactic welcome party?
Not quite. Zarian says they were all about, well, cutting corners. Why do the work themselves when they could engineer an entire race to do it for them?
You're saying they created slaves, cosmic slavery.
Yeah.
And they did this through genetic manipulation.
According to Zarian, yeah. He paints this picture of these Nephilim, these super intelligent beings basically kicking back while their creations do all the heavy lifting. Talk about a raw deal.
No kidding. But here's the thing. If these Nephilim were so smart, why create a slave race intelligent enough to rebel? That seems like poor planning, to say the least.
And that, my friend, is where Zarian says things get really interesting. He suggests that this first attempt at genetic engineering, it backfired. Big time.
Right.
The beings they created, they were just too smart for their own good. And guess what? They weren't too keen on being slaves.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Rebellion, uprising. Did we have a full-blown alien war on Earth? Laser beams, spaceships, the works.
Zarian describes a conflict so massive, so devastating that it reshaped the planet as we know it. He actually connects this war to those myths we have about Atlantis and Lemuria, those advanced civilizations that vanished.
Wait a minute, you're saying those myths, those are based on real events?
Zarian believes they're echoes, remnants of a time when Earth was a very different place. He even links it to the flood myths that so many cultures share.
Interesting. So those stories, those whispers of a world submerged, those could be cultural memories of this ancient alien war. But you'd think if there was a war that intense, we'd have more than just stories.
Right. Well, that's where things get really out there. Sarian suggests that this wasn't your average war. He says it was fought with technology beyond our comprehension, technology that could, well, make a nuclear bomb look like a firecracker.
A nuclear war in prehistoric times. Hold on. I need to let that sink in for a second. But even after this supposed war, the Nephilim, they didn't just pack up and leave, did they?
Oh, this is just the beginning. According to Zarian, they went back to the drawing board and created a new race. A more, shall we say, obedient version. He calls them the Adamic race.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. Less Planet of the Apes, more humans as we know them, right? But how does this tie into the whole Adam and Eve story?
Zarian interprets that story very differently from how you might hear it in Sunday school. He says that nakedness isn't about literal nudity, but about a lack of knowledge. It's like those Nephilim learned their lesson and decided to keep their new creation in the dark.
So instead of a literal apple, Adam and Eve ate the apple of knowledge. Fascinating.
Hmm.
But if all this happened so long ago, what does it have to do with us now? I mean, it's not like we're still living in the Garden of Eden, right?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's where Zarian's theories take an even wilder turn. He suggests that this ancient drama, it never really ended. In fact, it's still playing out today.
Okay, now you've got my attention. So what's the next chapter in this cosmic thriller? Are we talking about alien overlords walking among us?
Well, Sarian believes those Nephilim descendants, they're still here. And
Yeah.
they're calling the shots. They're the puppet masters, pulling the strings from behind the scenes, shaping our world in ways we can't even imagine.
Hold on. Are you saying our world is secretly run by a bunch of ancient alien descendants? That sounds like something straight out of, well,
A conspiracy theory.
yeah, that.
I know, it sounds crazy, right? But Sorian, he sees their influence everywhere we look.
Everywhere. Like where? Give me an example.
Well, he points to things like, say, corporate logos, for example. He claims a lot of them subtly incorporate serpentine imagery.
Serpentine imagery, huh? Like snakes.
Yeah.
You're saying there's a hidden message in that coffee cup I'm holding. Come on now.
It's not always that literal. But
Yeah.
think about it. Zarian suggests that these symbols, they're not just random designs. They're a way for those in power, those descendants of the serpent masters, to subtly reinforce their control, to remind us on a subconscious level who's really in charge.
Okay, so we've got ancient aliens, genetic manipulation, and now a global conspiracy run by their descendants. Zarian doesn't hold back. But if he's right, what chance do we have? Are we all just pawns in some cosmic game? So we're surrounded by these symbols, these subtle reminders of who's really pulling the strings. But it's not all about subliminal messaging, is it? What else are these alleged descendants up to?
Zarian believes they've been manipulating our technological advancement, subtly guiding us towards their own agenda.
Okay, hold on. So it's not enough to control the message. They're controlling the technology, too. What's the end game here? World domination.
Zarian suggests it's bigger than that. He believes they're, well, trapped. Their ancestors, the Nephilim, they crash-landed here after that ancient war, remember. He thinks they're desperate to break free from Earth, to rejoin the cosmic game, so to speak.
Break free from Earth, like escape Earth's gravity. What, are they building a giant rocket in their secret underground lair?
He actually points to the space program as an example. He sees it as a thinly veiled attempt to, as he puts it, bypass the Stargate.
The Stargate. What are we talking about here? A Stargate SG-1 situation. Where's Kurt Russell when you need him?
Not quite. Zarian believes the moon, that's the Stargate. He even suggests it's not a natural satellite at all, but some kind of ancient technology put in place to keep the Nephilim, or at least their descendants, from leaving.
Okay, now we're really into conspiracy theory territory. The moon landing was faked to cover up the fact that the moon is actually a giant alien lock.
Hey, I'm just telling you what Zarian says, but it gets wilder. He even connects things like the assassination of Princess Diana to all this.
Hold on. Princess Diana, as in Princess Diana, what does she have to do with ancient aliens in the moon?
Zarian argues that those in power, they eliminate anyone who threatens their plans, anyone who gets too close to the truth.
Wow, if Tsarion is right, it paints a pretty bleak picture, doesn't it? It's like we're stuck in this cosmic chess game, but we don't even know the rules.
It can feel that way, for
Yeah.
sure. But Zarian, he doesn't just leave us with a sense of doom and gloom. He believes that knowledge is power.
Okay, knowledge is power. So we read his book, we listen to this deep dive. Now what? What are we supposed to do with all this information?
He urges us to question everything, to look for those symbols, those subtle signs of manipulation, to not just accept the narratives we're given, but to think for ourselves, to reconnect with our own intuition, our own inner wisdom. He even suggests that humanity is like the Earth's immune system, fighting off infection.
So it's not just about waking up to the truth ourselves, it's about waking up the planet.
In a way, yeah. Sarian believes that by healing ourselves, by reclaiming our power, we also help to heal the Earth. That we have a responsibility to break free from these ancient cycles of manipulation and create something new, something better.
Well, there you have it, folks. Michael Tsarion's Atlantis, Alien Visitation, and Genetic Manipulation. It's a wild ride through alternative history, conspiracy theories, and mind-blowing possibilities. From the asteroid belt to the moon landing, From corporate logos to Princess Diana, Tsarion weaves together a narrative that challenges everything we thought we knew about our world and our place in it. Whether you buy into his theories or not, one thing's for sure, he certainly gives us a lot to think about.